the weather forecast with Coloca in its multipurpose banquet hall, Il Palazzo.
Hi, lovely people, and thank you for being part of the weather forecast tonight. I hope you are enjoying the weekend already. We would have a calm weather dominate the nation tonight with the coldest temperatures expected in the west region at 17 degrees. We would have the littoral and far north regions get a minimum temperature at 19 degrees. We'd also expect the north, east, and the south regions to be as low as 21 degrees, and the southwest region would stand at 27 degrees. Now we take you over to the Adamawa region, where tonight no precipitation is announced throughout the region, and by morning temperatures will drop to 18 degrees in Tibati. Next, we take you over to the center region, where tonight we have no possibility of precipitation in the entire region, and by morning it may drizzle in the town of Nangaiboko. And lastly, we go over to the northwest region, where tonight there is no chance of precipitation, and by morning it will be exactly the same situation, with Fundong expecting the least temperature at 16 degrees. I encourage you to make our time and visit the northwest so you can have a view of the Menchum waterfall. Thank you for watching, and do have a good night.
Cameroon's lower house of parliament registers new faces as after the declaration of results of the legislative election on February 9. Political parties like PCRN and FSNC will make their first appearance at the Glass House. Cameroon and the international community commemorate Rare Diseases Day with focus on awareness and treatment. But just how do such diseases manifest in humans? Find out in this newscast. Women from all walks of life take to the streets of Yaoundé in a sports walk to manifest their ability to take up leadership position and fight for their rights and those of the girl child. Get the ambience at the 20th May Boulevard today. Good evening and thanks for joining us on the 7:30 News. I'm Gladys Tata. The commander of the 5th Joint Military Region, Brigadier General Valère, has requested defense forces under the command to fully defend the population of the Northwest region. He was addressing defense forces in Bamenda today at the end of a tour of command posts under the 5th Joint Military Region. Eric Langmia-Wufo reports from Bamenda.
In Bamenda, the defense and security forces were congratulated for neutralizing 10 armed secessionist fighters.
At the one camp called Yoruba, around Bambili, you had the information. And then they neutralized 10 of those Ambazonians, those terrorists. Then they took den guns and AK rifles, and and also material used to make IEDs.
The same message of congratulations were also offered to the forces of the 51st Support Battalion in Kombo, who are also said to have neutralized an outstanding secessionist fighter. In Wum and Kambe, the defense forces of the 53rd and 52nd Motorized Infantry Battalion were also lauded for their commitment to defend Cameroon.
Let them not be distracted, because this distraction, those informations, false informations, put on the social media is to demoralize the soldiers on the field. Our aim is to have peace in the Northwest.
The commander of the 5th Joint Military Region, Brigadier General Valère, requested the defense forces to remain focused in pursuing the battle against terrorism. For this to be achieved, the soldiers were cautioned to respect human rights and also the law of armed conflict. In Tumbo, Donga-Mantun Division, the Brigadier General did not only supervise hard campaigns carried out by the forces of the Joint Military Region, but also offered assistance to some 200 displaced persons from the Gabo incident residing in Tumbo. He has also called on them to ensure a smooth rerun of the February 9th legislative elections in some parts of the Northwest region.
Sons and daughters of Lebialem Division of the Southwest region have been exhorted to portray their tradition and cultural values wherever they find themselves. This was during celebrations to mark the maiden edition of the Lebialem Cultural Jamboree organized in Yaoundé by the Conference of Lebialem Cultural and Development Association, Kongle Kuda. Joyce Tata tells us more in the following report.
Lebialem speaks out, saying it's time to give peace and development a chance amidst insecurity threats for the sake of tomorrow's generation.
We organize this cultural jamboree to bring them out of the trauma. Lebialem people have always been individualistic. I want them to know that they come from one division.
If Lebialem people are united among themselves, definitely they'll be able to, or they'll be ready to contribute their fair share in consolidating the peace and unity of Cameroon.
As the theme of the jamboree goes, one mommy, one papa, the indigents were admonished to keep promoting the rich culture of the land, especially through their magazine and website.
So when we leave our villages and we come to town, we must look for avenues where once in a while we should meet and be able to communion.
And a rebirth of love. The people having been sort of dispersed from their home, and they have been able to come together to nurture what they had before.
Minister Bidum Part of Arts and Culture, representing the Prime Minister head of government, congratulated such an initiative, which would go a long way to consolidate national unity.
We share your pains and worries during these difficult moments, and most importantly, carry with you the flame of hope for a glorious tomorrow.
Several traditional dances were performed at the festival, breaking physical and mental boundaries, an occasion to dance, smile, and celebrate unity.
Some elites of the Adamawa region resident in Yaoundé have manifested their support to President Paul Biya by coming together in a solidarity meeting. They had to say no to foreign interferences while taking the engagement to defend Cameroon till the end. Victor Siga has more.
Like other good Cameroonian patriots, these elites of the Adamawa region gathered to show their unflinching support to the head of state, President Paul Biya, following the French president's utterances.
We are here to say no to what happened last week in France. To say no, to a head of state, being from a friendly country, come and tell us what we should do, what our head should do.
While showing their attachment to fatherland and its head of state, they also called on other Cameroonians to guard against anything that can tarnish the image of the country.
If they are Cameroonian, they should not do what they are doing. If they are not Cameroonian, they should leave us alone. We are ready for that, to defend our country.
These elites have joined their voices with other youth to defend the country's integrity.
The proclamation of results of the legislative poll by the Constitutional Council has reshaped the political landscape in Cameroon, with new phases coming into the scene and old ones sharing some strategic constituencies. Kilian Dandifon has a reading of the new political chart of the Cameroon National Assembly.
The results of the February 9 legislative polls give a new cartography of the political power sharing in Cameroon. From the results, the era of monopoly is over, even if the CPDM party has swept all parliamentary seats in the South and East regions. It is the only party that has members of the National Assembly in the 10 regions, but multi-party characteristics are very present. With 139 out of 180, it stands out as the political giant, pending partial rerun for 13 seats, 10 in the Northwest and 1 in the Southwest. The NUDP has 7 members of the National Assembly from the Adamawa and North regions. While waiting for a partial rerun, the SDF has already secured 5 seats from the Northwest and Littoral regions. The newcomer into the political scene, the Cameroon Party for National Reconciliation, has also scored 5, but in the Centre and Littoral regions. CDU takes home 4 seats of the lower house of parliament, all from its stronghold in the West region. The Cameroon National Salvation Front has a score of 3 seats in the North and Far North regions. The Republican Party MDR has 2 parliamentarians, both from the Far North, while the UMS has Teche Shaw with 2 from the West region. Looking at these results, the outcome of the partial rerun notwithstanding, it is clear that with time, the word monopoly is losing its strength in the Cameroonian political dictionary.
Some candidates who took part at the February 9, 2020 legislative election say it was fair and transparent. They made their appraisal in Yaoundé during the solemn ceremony to proclaim results of the legislative election by the Constitutional Council. Sidwan Jobmandi tells us more in the following report.
After the proclamation of results of the legislative election, members elected to represent different constituencies in Cameroon are already taking engagement to work hard for the advancement of the country.
My militants, they did the best. I'm very much grateful. I congratulate them and I ask them to remain committed, devoted, to protect and to promote the nation.
It's the end of a process. It is normal. In accordance with the laws of the Republic, the results are proclaimed by the Constitutional Council. Parliament will start, and with the number they have for now, pending the rerun, if that will be possible.
We are in the NUDP relatively satisfied with the results because we have increased the number of the seats in the National Assembly.
To enhance the participation of more Cameroonian women in politics, some 60 women have been elected into the National Assembly.
After this twins election, we have something like 60 female MPs at the National Assembly and 33 at the head of councils. We hope that after those 11 circumscriptions where election is going to be has been cancelled, we can upgrade the number of women at the National Assembly.
The elected parliamentarians have a 5-year mandate at the National Assembly.
The proclamation of results of last February 9 legislative election was closely followed by the population of the Southwest region. In Boya, members of the ruling CPDM party and sympathizers rallied at the party's headquarters to follow the declaration of the results. Regina Ngalendoko tells us more in the following report.
Immense joy and satisfaction was visible on the faces of the population when the name of their candidate, Malumba Esembe, was pronounced. Just like in Boya, the CPDM won the 13 other seats to the National Assembly, pending the case of Lebi Alem, which is to go through a rerun. The Manu and Fako division have newcomers, while the others remain the same.
The electors of the Boya urban constituency have spoken. And I am humbled by their love. I'm humbled by their support. My gratitude goes first of all to my comrades of the CPDM party who designated me to be the candidate in the election. I say a big thank you to the national chairman of the party, President Paul Biya.
The Fako division has 4 seats, Ndian 3, Meme division 2, Manu division 3 and Ikupe Maninguba division 2, all bastions of the CPDM.
An imposing complex to host government bilingual nursery and primary school Efulan in the South region has been handed over to the beneficiary community by Serak women in a heavily attended ceremony yesterday in Efulan. The school complex was constructed and equipped by the First Lady, founding president of Serak, Madam Chantal Biya, within the framework of her humanitarian actions. A substantial consignment of farm inputs, foodstuff and didactic materials from the First Lady were also handed over to the population during the ceremony, as Amin Keng Edward tells us.
It was an excited and jubilant population of a full land situated some 30 kilometers from a Bolova and home to a vibrant population, at the head of which was Governor Felix Ngelengele of the South region, that welcomed the high-profile Sirak delegation headed by Madame Grace John Gute, personal representative of the First Lady, Madame Chantal Biya, founding president of Sirak. In songs and messages, the population, particularly the pupils of the government bilingual Nigerian primary school Efulan, expressed their thanks and gratitude to the First Lady, Madame Chantal Biya, UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador, for the donation of a brand new and well-equipped school complex.
Thanks to Sirak, thanks to FECOM, thanks to Efulan Rural Council, we can smile, we now have a shelter, we can sit on good benches and write well. We promise to make you proud of us.
Religious authorities and the mayor of Efulan, the delegate of basic education and others joined their voices to the education family to hail the humanitarian actions of the First Lady and her association, the Circle of Friends of Cameroon. The Sirak women, on behalf of the founding president, also came to Efulan with a substantial consignment of farm input, foodstuff and didactic materials as donation from the First Lady, given that over 80% of the population depend on agriculture for survival. As an important food production basin of the region, the delegate of Women Empowerment and the Family briefed the Sirak women on the effort made by the rural women of Efulan to ensure food self-sufficiency in Cameroon, and thanked the Sirak women and the First Lady for the substantial donation to scale up food production in the region.
Mrs. Chantal Biya, First Lady of Cameroon, UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador, entrusted the Sirak caravan with a mission of going all across Cameroon to spread her message of love, solidarity, and sharing.
After the distribution of the farm tools to the different beneficiaries, the representative of the First Lady, Madame Grace John Gute, proceeded to inaugurate the school complex and visited some exhibition stands of locally produced works of art to mark the end of a pretty colorful and heavily attended ceremony.
Mobile telephone operators have been challenged to put in place measures that can track down separatists who extort money from innocent population. Territorial Administration boss Paul Atanganji was speaking in Yaoundé during a meeting with legal experts and officials of mobile telephone companies. Here now is an excerpt of Minister Paul Atanganji. Take a listen.
We have called the general managers or those who are in charge of MTN mobile money and Orange money to express the difficulties that the populations of the Northwest and Southwest regions are facing. For the past 3 months, the terrorists in the two regions have used the different facilities by Orange money and MTN mobile money to collect close to 530 million francs from honest Cameroonians. The transactions are very simple. When you are being kidnapped, you are immediately asked to pay Orange money or MTN mobile money in different accounts. That's why we have called the legal experts of these companies for us to sit down and work out clear mechanisms which will permit the police and the gendarmes to track down all the terrorists who are using these facilities to racket population. The second aspect is that most of the time, when customers send money and there is a mistake when they are carrying out the transaction, it becomes difficult for them to collect back the money. So we are here to protect them.
A suspected rapist and a cultist under the cassock passing for an exorcist and miracle pastor has been unmasked by elements of the National Gendarmerie. The Sango pastor in 2 years was in his 30th ritual rape case of small girls, close to the target of 40 to attain spiritual glory and riches. The Central Investigation Service of the National Gendarmerie presented the fake pastor to the public in Yaoundé yesterday. Kilian Dandifo was there and brought back the story that gives goosebumps.
Sango pastor Abwa Victor says he is an evangelist of the Canadian-based traditional Roman Catholic Church, with mission to plant churches. But his goal is different.
When I get to someone's house, I create an acquaintance with them and gain their confidence and carry out deliverance prayers. Then I take their children away and rape them. I heard that when you rape little girls, you extract their love. Then you have power, glory, money, and progress in church.
He had a prescribed target to attain.
We discovered that was the 30th case. His objective is to reach to 40 cases to being rich or have a glory.
Since there is no perfect crime, his ill luck came from Komitu near Yaoundé when he was exposed. Flagrante delito.
I accept the accusations that have brought me before you today, but it is not all the children that I penetrate. Sometimes my spirit tells me not to do it.
Saturday, the 22nd of February, we arrested the man who is a fake pastor.
The suspect is in the business for about 15 years.
C'est depuis 2005 que je suis entré dans l'exorcisme. I started exorcism in 2005 when I became a deacon of the Exodus Church, but I am a pastor since 2015. It is in 2018 that I started raping little girls to gain power, money, and glory.
Specialized in fake exorcism and deliverance, the 39-year-old false man of God, who has violated about 30 girls, 8 to 14 will face the arm of the law.
Indeed, Killian, let justice take its course. Vitiligo, hemophilia, and acidemia are some of the rare diseases affecting Cameroonians. As the country joins the international community to observe the International Day of Rare Diseases, emphasis is being laid on ways to improve the situation of victims. Health experts have recommended showing them more care and love as a way out. But what are rare diseases? Alice Mbe attempts an answer.
Rare diseases usually attacks a small portion of the population and is present throughout the entire life. According to the World Health Organization, 1 out of 2,000 people suffer from rare diseases. The disease can be genetic or caused by neglected pregnancy.
Jocelyn is 17 years old. When the mother was pregnant, she attempted to commit abortion, but did not succeed. When the child was born, he had a cerebral brain problem that is affecting his growth system. From time to time, he manifests this crisis, and we don't have enough money to care for him.
Hippolyte is my first and only son amongst 5 children. He is 15 years old and is suffering from a cerebral brain deficiency. He was born with a frontal problem but was not diagnosed early. We are doing our best to care for him, but we are short of finances.
Medical practitioners say rare diseases have different ways of manifestations and has no treatment.
Elle affecte le système nerveux.
Most of the time, rare diseases affect the nervous system and the neurology system, causing cerebral problems in the brain. Patients manifest epilepsy and physical infirmity, pains and frequent cries with sleepless nights. There is no particular treatment for rare diseases. Patients are usually put under palliative care. They are usually given painkillers. We have at least 2 to 3 specialists in Yaoundé for several patients. A patient can wait for 3 months before seeing a doctor.
Health personnel say parents should show more love to the children. They should carry out frequent massage on the children, be in good hygienic conditions, carry out regular medical checkups, and proper nutrition should be given to the patients.
And we take you over to the southwest region, where 1 person is suspected to have died of cholera at the Tidco District Hospital, while 11 others are being treated for the disease. A team of medical officials, led by the regional delegate for public health, was at the hospital to assess the evolution of the suspected case. Regina Ngalendoko with the details from Boya.
Activities have intensified at the Tidco District Hospital following the confirmation of some cholera cases. It was on the 22nd of February that a man was rushed to the hospital presenting with symptoms of cholera. Hours later, 5 other members of the same family were also brought to the hospital, amongst them a 4-year-old who later passed away.
We have 11 cases, 1 death,
2 discharged and 8 still in the ward. But the situation now is very calm. Yesterday we received 1 case, but today up to now we have not received any case. We have already created the isolation unit in the hospital. Among all those cases that we received, is only 3 who were rapid tested positive.
During an evaluation meeting, it was revealed that the first suspected case left an endemic area in Manoka in the littoral region to Tiko and had contact with most of the suspected cases. Measures are now underway to contain the spread of the disease.
It's an imported case, so we have to make sure that we step up the activities of this frontier health post. We are ready. Our partners are there. We came with supplies.
The regional delegate, who was accompanied by the divisional officer of TICO, has called on the population to observe strict hygienic lifestyle in order to prevent the disease from propagating.
We stay in the southwest region where farm inputs worth 90 million CFA francs have been distributed to producers' organizations in the region. The inputs were handed to the farmers' groups by the Southwest Development Authority, SOWEDA, during a ceremony that took place at the structure's headquarters. Details with Henry Mikole of CRTV Southwest in Boya.
18 producer organizations or farmers' groups and cooperatives benefited from the donation of the farm inputs. The groups from the 6 divisions of the southwest regions each had fertilizers, herbicides and insecticides, as well as push trucks, wheelbarrows and sprayers, amongst other things. They equally received planting materials like maize.
These gifts have really come timely to help us put something into our farms, especially as the dry season is so prolonged now and intensive.
Apart from the 18 producers' organizations, officials of the penitentiary also benefited from the largesse of the Southwest Development Authority because the officials say they run an agri project. Speaking during the donations, the general manager of SOWEDA, Dr. Bisong Ogongtui, said the initiative will help combat hunger and poverty amongst the rural masses hit by the ongoing crisis.
Most of our farmers have not been there and they are just returning. They don't have access, they're financially down. So to expect them to go back to their villages and start looking for money to buy seed, they can do it, but I think giving them free will help them more. And of course, government is there to assist them. Now that they are returning to their villages, it's but normal that they should also get planting material free.
This year, SOWEDA, according to its officials, will distribute some 60 tons of maize for planting, and the distribution, they insist, is free of charge. The event, which was attended by a cross-section of farmers' organization, was chaired by the Inspector General of Services at the Southwest Governor's Office.
Gone are the days when only men were notables, especially in the grass fields. Today, things have changed and evolved to the extent that the pioneer female notable to manage the affairs of the Bana chiefdom in the Upper Kam in the West region has been inducted. Victor Siga reports.
It was of celebration gala as several personalities, traditional dignitaries from all over Cameroon and native of Bana in the Onkam in the West region attended the induction ceremony of the first female notable of the community. Making Rose Wapi, one of the notables, gives women of this locality a strategic place in the traditional chiefdom. The new Mafo, beyond her title, has as responsibility to mobilize women of the locality in the promotion of traditional values as well as developmental projects. Achieving all this, she says, can only be possible with the collaboration of everyone.
Tonight, we read a book, PATYCHOU, that tells the tales of how Cameroonians can live together without problems despite coming from over 250 ethnic groups. Authored by Musa Mboemboe, the 140-page book treats themes like justice, solidarity, and forgiveness, amongst others. Victor Siga once more perused the book for the 7:30 news.
PATYCHOU is a book with 17 tales. In it, the author provides measures to understanding the culture in which we are living at the entire community. Proud of his linguistic heritage, he declares his sympathy for a hybrid speech where French, Bamoun, and Bulu coexist.
PATYCHOU is in my Bamoun language,
and it's my way to promote our culture. And Pachatunka is the major theme, and it means someone who attests that he is rich.
An enthusiastic pen that rocks awareness on the importance of living together, Musa enriches the 140-page book with current themes like unemployment, forgiveness, solidarity and justice, all factors related to Cameroon's political, economic and cultural uniqueness.
Writing a book like this that promotes maybe folk tales is the best way.
In this figurative constellation of history on the arteries of speech and writing, realism and naturalism combined with life experience. Beyond writing,
and on to one of our lead stories. Women of the Cameroon Radio, Television, CRTV and their peers nationwide have been encouraged to do sports on a daily basis in order to stay healthy. The call was made today in Yaoundé by the Minister of Women's Empowerment and the Family, Professor Marie-Thérèse Abena-Ondoa, after leading a sports walk that falls in line with activities marking the celebration of the 35th edition of the International Women's Day on March 8. Romeo Kenyi has more.
In their numbers, they converge on the Yaoundé 20th May Boulevard this Saturday morning for a sport walk. A few minutes to kick off, exercises to strengthen the muscles characterize the ambience, these electrified with beautiful music. With the help of the national security and a highly animated orchestra, the women pass through the Eligesono neighborhood, the Lonkak roundabout, the broadcasting house and back to the point of departure. The exercise was led by the Minister of Women's Empowerment and the Promotion of the Family.
Sport is part of life, and it is always good for someone to do some physical activity. Women should understand that it is important to remain in good health. And this march is part of the activities of the celebration of the International Women's Day. It is the occasion for women of all categories to mix.
Amongst those who answered present were women of the Cameroon Radio Television, CRTV.
We say in CRTV at the heart of the nation. You know, for us, it's not only a slogan. It's an engagement we take towards the nation to be everywhere it is happening for the nation. And it's very important for us to be here today. And we thank our hierarchy.
The exercise that falls in line with activities marking the celebration of this year's International Women's Day ended with special prizes given to the physically challenged who turn out massively.
The Minister of Sports and Physical Education, in his capacity as President of the Organizing Committee of the COCAN 2021, has expressed satisfaction at the level of work done by the Littoral Local Organizing Committee. Narcisse Moele Kombi was speaking in Douala while on a working visit to inspect work on the different zones of accreditations and centers 30 days to the kickoff of the 2020 Shan. Saline Dolo reports from Douala.
Accompanied by the Littoral Site President of the Local Organizing Committee for the COCAN 2021, Samuel Dodone Ivara Diboua, the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, who doubles as President of COCAN 2021, Professor Narcisse Moele Kombi, took time to visit the different fan zones, beginning from the Lycée Polyvalent and the Sodiko Stadium, all in Bonaberi, Douala 4 subdivision, then the Bona Musadi Paku Vita Complex in Douala 5, where he was briefed on the available space and other sporting facilities lodged in these zones and assured of a remarkable level of security. Another point of attention for the sports boss was the accreditation centers, raison d'être of his visit to the Bepanda Multipurpose Center and the Bonanjo Party House that will host these accreditation centers. The minister continued his visit to the COCAN headquarters situated in Bonanjo and then the regional delegation of tourism for the Littoral. Presently, Professor Narcisse Moele Kombi is having a meeting with Littoral Governor and other stakeholders to evaluate and arrive at a conclusion on what has been seen on the field this day.
And it is here we draw the curtains on the 7:30 news. Thanks for watching. Join Atta Badine Umar in under 28 minutes for Luvento. I'll be here tomorrow, same time. Until then, it's bye from all of us on the 7:30 crew. Good night.